Hello, I can see some of you tuning in. I'll just wait, I'm just about a minute early, so I'll just wait for everyone else to join and then we'll get started. But for those of you that are here so far, my name is Hannah and I'm one of the Active Adventures New Zealand gurus that will be chatting to you today about about winter down here in New Zealand. So I'm just, while we wait for, we're just ticking over about 7 p.m. Pacific time now. Now just make sure you can all hear me. There is a little raise hand feature at the bottom of your screen. If I just want to get a raise of hands, just if you can click that button if you can hear me all right. Looks like I'm getting some good feedback, so that's good. Looks like most of you can hear me, so that is fantastic. Cool, so without further ado then, we'll make a start. Like I said, for those that have just tuned in, my name is Hannah and I am one of Active Adventures New Zealand gurus. I also just wanted to let you guys know that I have got another one of our Active Adventures gurus here today. She's just on the chat, which you might have seen popped up. And she's just going to be there for you guys if there's anything urgent along the way that needs answering. If it's not urgent and you have a question, strongly encourage you to ask questions, so just pop them in the Q&A box. There's a Q&A feature there, so just pop any questions you have in there and I will get to them at the end. Cool, so a little bit about me and how I came to Active Adventures. I'm a born and bred Kiwi, that's how we say it down here. I grew up in a place called Tauranga, Mount Maunganui, so that's on the North Island. And for those of you that, know a bit about New Zealand, you'll know we have two main islands, one being the North, the other being the South. And since then, I've been living and traveling abroad, traveling around the world, and but I kept visiting my parents, who moved down south here to Queenstown, which is where we're based, Active Adventures. I fell in love with the scenery and all the outdoor opportunities that, so working for Active Adventures, it just seemed like a natural step. And now I basically get to live the dream and chat to people like you about how awesome my own backyard is every single day. So it's awesome. So we're going to get started. I should just mention that if you stick around, I had mentioned in the email to you guys when you registered that we are doing a bit of an offer at the moment. So if you stick around, I'm going to get to chatting about that a little bit at the end. Let's make a start. So I'll tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do. While I do this, I'm just going to quickly launch a little poll. It's just, just for me. I'm quite interested to see why some of you guys are considering coming down this way during the winter. So, I'll launch that away and you guys can just, you'll see it pop up on your screen and just feel free to tick a box and we'll leave it at that. Cool, so Active Adventures, we are a Kiwi-owned and operated company based out of Queenstown. In New Zealand, which is Queenstown is in the South Island. And we've been operating for about 23 years now, or just over. So we've been running these trips for a really long time now. What we do, we take small groups around backcountry New Zealand, all under your own steam. So that's through things like hiking, biking, kayaking. The whole point of our trip is to get you guys away from the crowds and more off the beaten track into the real backcountry stuff that only the locals know about. And I should also mention we do love our creature comforts too, so at the end of the day, you'll definitely get the best of both worlds. Cool, so what's it actually like down here in the winter? Let's just cut to the chase. I know you all came here today because you want to know what it's like down here in the winter. And whether you should even consider coming down here then. Winter months in New Zealand are typically June through August, and for those that are in the Northern Hemisphere, you'll know that we have opposite seasons down here. So while it's our winter, you guys are enjoying some sunshine. And yeah, sure, the winters are cooler. We all know that, but definitely nothing like you get in some of these places overseas, like the US, Canada, Europe, where it drops into those minus figures. We don't often get snowfalls to the ground level here, so it's certainly not freezing. And generally, the temperatures range between about the mid-40s and low 60s. That's in Fahrenheit. And yeah, so the mornings are cool, but the temperatures rise quickly because we get a lot of blue, clear sky days here, so it tends to warm up. And we also get asked, why should you travel with us in winter? So there's a number of reasons, and these are just a few of them. The obvious one is there's less crowds during the winter down here, so you'll have the trails all to yourself. And we all know that a lot of people come during peak season, making the winter the best time if you really want to avoid the crowds and enjoy that backcountry to yourself. Another reason why you should come down here in winter is better airfares. Actually, is there anyone from the States? If you could raise your hand, I'm just interested to see if there is anyone here. Oh, yep, okay. We've got a few of you from the States today. Hello. So yeah, I actually saw a pretty good flight deal down here for the winter months. I think it was with American Airlines for about $9.80 US return. So you can get some good flight deals. So yeah, keep an eye out there. The next reason why you should come down here in the winter is it's picture perfect. The winter landscapes, you just can't beat them. You know, you get in the South Island, you get that the mountain weather really creates beautiful scenes. Thinking like, you know, your snow-capped mountains, beautiful cloud formations, and full rainbows of a frozen landscapes. It really is the best time to enjoy down here. My preference, definitely. And of course, with the safety of an experienced leader, you wouldn't want to go, you wouldn't want to get into a lot of these spots on your own. It's certainly somewhere that you'd want to go with a local Kiwi guide. They know the country like the back of their hand. So it's also the time of the year when our ski fields come to life. There aren't many places in the world that you can go for a hike or run and ski all in one day. And believe it or not, I actually did this in the weekend just been. It was such a great weekend. I got up and went for a jog, and then I drove up the mountain, and so I managed to fit in, those two things in one day. It's so awesome. And another great thing about winter trips is that they coincide really well with lots of key events down here. We just had the big Luma Lights Festival. Lots of people travel internationally for that. We've got this very weekend, we've got the Queenstown Winterfest, which is one of the biggest events in the New Zealand calendar. And the winter is often when our All Blacks rugby team play, play a lot of their matches. So if there's any rugby fans out there, you definitely want to be coming down during our winter. And lastly, my favourite reason for why you should come down here during the winter is because everything seems, way more, seems more deserved at the end of the day in winter. A hot cup of cocoa or a glass of mulled wine, it couldn't taste any better after a day of hiking in the winter. Moving on, I'm just going to chat to you guys. I'm going to go over just keep it real short and just go over some of the trips that we run down here in winter. We have 2 trips in the South Island. We've got the Winter Rimu, which is our signature South Island trip. We've also got the Kia family trip. And then in the North Island, we have the Kauri. So that's our North Island trip, which runs all year round. So the Winter Rimu, this is a little map here for you guys to check out, shows you the direction and where we go. So the Winter Rimu, it's a 2-week South Island trip specifically designed for the environment at this time of year. We'll get you into all the same beautiful spots that you would during the summer, doing all the same types of activities. It starts and finishes here in Christchurch. Most international flights to New Zealand land into Auckland, which is in the North Island, but from there it's just a short domestic hop to Christchurch here, where we start. The trip is multi-activity, so biking, hiking, kayaking. We do like to keep things interesting for you here at Active. You'll get to explore the landscape through a mix of these activities. And the trip highlights for this trip include Mount Cook. So Mount Cook is where New Zealand's highest mountain is. This is a picture of Mount Cook here. We also get to do 2 overnight hiking experiences on this trip. So we get to go into Mount Aspiring National Park, and we get to do the Copeland Track. This here is one of the huts at Copeland Track, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a bit. We also have a free day in Queenstown. There is, this is where I'm based right now. And it's the adventure capital of New Zealand. In fact, I would say almost the world. And so, there's so much to do here. You guys, you're definitely going to want that as your free day. So we sort of just let everyone, if there's anything extra, we can point you in the right direction. We get to sea kayak Milford Sound. This is a picture here. You can see the sea kayakers down the bottom. This is a really unique way to see the sounds. You won't beat it because most people jump on a cruise and do it. So we're out there first thing before all the tourists turn up out in the water, experiencing it from there. We get to jump on and hike some of one of our 9 great walks. This picture here is of the Kepler Track. Give that one a Google. And we also get to head to Franz Josef Glacier. So this is the steepest and fastest moving glacier in New Zealand, and it's been recorded it's been recorded that it moves up to, or it has moved in a day, up to 4 meters, which is crazy. That blew my mind when I found that out. I think the average glacier only moves about between 50 centimeters and a meter a day, so that's massive. There's a lot of activity going on there. We get asked a lot, how difficult is the Winteremu, and is it for me? The Winteremu, it is one of our more adventurous trips, but like all of our trips, we are really flexible, and we do have options to suit a range of fitness levels. Typically, the hikes on this trip, they range between about 3 to 6 hours, and the trips are designed for real people, not crazy mountain marathon runners. But if you are one of those, that's fine too. We can definitely push you. It's all about going at your own pace, taking lots of stops along the way to soak up that beautiful scenery. And that's what it's all about. That's really important to us. And nothing on our trips is mandatory. It's your holiday, and you can do as much or as little as you want. I should also mention, with things like the biking and the kayaking, you don't need any previous experience, but if you do have previous experience, that's fine too. We can certainly challenge you there. So, in for a little bit of a treat today, actually. One of our guides has just come off a Winteremu trip, so I thought I'd try and quickly nab her, come up with a few quick questions for her, so you guys can kind of get to see, get to meet one of the guides that's actually out there on the road, out doing the hiking and stuff with you guys. So her name is Maya. Just bear with me. I'm just going to nip out and see if I can quickly grab her. I'll be back in a sec. Here she is. Good job.
Hey guys. Hi. So I'm Maya. I'm a guide here at Active Adventures. I've been working doing 2 seasons with them, and I have the best job of showing you guys around our beautiful country.
Yes, she does. Okay, Maya, really quick because I know you have to carry on and things. I've got a few quick questions.
Yeah,
okay?
Of course.
Good. Okay, so first question. What is your favourite part about guiding the Winteremu trip that I've just been chatting to these guys about?
Yeah, for sure. So I love that the trails are absolutely so quiet at the winter time. Sometimes it feels like it's just you and nature, the only ones on the trails. You beat all the crowds.
Yeah.
The Winter Remu also has my favourite hike, which is into the Coupland Hut track. And it's a nice challenging hike with rewarding hot pools, natural hot pools at the end, which are amazing to soak in at the end of the day.
Yes, that's a huge highlight for people on this trip is the natural hot springs at the end where that hut is. It's a bit of a treat.
For sure.
Okay, cool, thank you. What sort of people typically join this type of trip?
Yeah, so I've just come off a Winter Remu last week. We got a range of a few people in their 30s, 2 people in their 40s, 50-year-old and a couple in their 60s. So we do get a broad range of people.
Nice.
We actually also had some teachers that had come on. It kind of coincides really nicely with the holidays over in the Northern Hemisphere.
Yes, good. Yeah, that's true. Okay, and what can you tell us what it's like staying in the backcountry hut in the middle of winter?
Yeah, for sure. So the winter is the best time to go into some of these huts. We take in some firewood, we get the fire cranking. The guides, they cook you a nice hot home-cooked meal, which is a bonus. We still get the epic bluebird days, so we go, we stargaze at night, we may see the Southern Cross, which is very cool.
Yeah.
And then if it rains, there's waterfalls, so even better.
Yes, waterfalls at Milford Sound. We definitely want waterfalls.
Yeah.
And lastly, before you head off, what do you think surprises people the most about winter down here?
Yeah, so I think it's the contrast of the snow on the mountains against the blue skies. The scenery is just amazing, hey. Yeah, it's just an awesome time to come to New Zealand.
Yeah. There you go, guys, from the guide herself. Thank you so much, Maya, for popping by, and I'll probably see you around soon.
Yeah, hopefully we see you in New Zealand soon.
Go, see you later.
Yeah.
Cool, so that was pretty awesome having Maya pop in. Pretty lucky there. Don't always see the guides. So we're going to carry on with the rest of our webinar today, and I can talk about the Care Family Adventure, but I'm not sure if there's any families here coming down. So if can I just get a raise of hands if there is anyone listening today that would be interested in learning about our family adventure? If there's no hands raised, no worries, we'll just skip past that. But yeah, is there anyone that wants to hear a bit about the family trip? Okay, yep, I can see a couple of hands, so that's cool. We'll go through it really quickly for you. So this is a wee map here, start from Christchurch, you'll see here. And yeah, it's a 2-week South Island family oriented adventure, starting and finishing in Christchurch. So same with the Winter Remu trip. And yeah, the key is sure to keep both the parents and the kids happy. The trip has various activities and sites from things like exciting jet boat rides, river rafting, stargazing. You get to head along to deserted beaches, and not to mention some of the most amazing hikes in the country as well, of course. And yeah, just you know, we want you to let us take care of the small stuff, is what I was trying to say, so that you guys can just focus on spending time with the family. The last thing that you want to be doing on your holiday is having to worry about things like where your next meal is and what sort of activities you'll be doing that you can all enjoy, and also things like having to navigate mountain roads. So let us take care of all of that. And then some of the highlights on this trip, so you'll get to hike in areas like Mount Cook National Park, which I showed you that beautiful picture of before. Lots of hiking there, perfect for the kids too. That's the place where our highest mountain is in New Zealand. We also go to Mount Aspiring National Park, where we get to do an overnight hike if the kids are up for it and keen, which most of the time they are. And we get to head to Franz Josef Glacier as well. So I talked about that. We did that on the Winter Remu. That's the biggest glacier here in New Zealand. We visit a high country sheep station, which the kids love. It is such a good time. You'll get to meet the farmers. They have one of those amazing farm dogs that runs the sheep ragged and super friendly. And yeah, that's a highlight. We also get to explore native wildlife along the way, lots of that on the Kia trip, including the kiwi actually at the Willowbank Reserve. So the kiwi is our native bird. So yeah, I know there is a lot to consider when planning a trip with kids. If you are interested in knowing a bit more about that Kia trip, you can just raise your hand now, and Amy will jot down your names, and I can get you a bit more info on that trip. Such as other things like kids' ages on the trip, accommodation, meals, all of that good stuff. These are some of the pictures. I've just got a few pictures here from the Kia trip. Some of our awesome families that have joined us down here recently for the Kia. So just flick through these for you quickly before we move on to the Kauri, the North Island trip. So this is, our signature North Island trip, which runs during the winter down here. You'll see here the nice map shows you the direction that the trip heads in. The North Island is very different to the South Island. So I always strongly encourage people, if they have time, to do both. Generally speaking, the North Island tends to be warmer, and that's why we run this exact same trip all year round. The full trip is 11 days, starting and finishing here, in Auckland. And it basically does a figure of 8. This is Auckland here. And it basically does a figure of 8, starting and finishing here in Auckland. So you can see where it heads, these little arrows. If you are a bit short on time, you do also have the option to just do either the first 5 days or the last 5 days of this trip instead of the full trip. We have designed the dates for the Kauri to tie in really nicely with our South Island trips, so that you can do both islands, and we get a lot of people that do choose to do that. That's why we've designed the dates to work really well in with each other. So I've just got a little quick video which I'm going to show you guys about the Kauri. I'll just play that. Awesome. So that is only a brief snippet of actually majority of the first 5 days actually of that part of the trip. It's going to want to play again. Just try and skip past that if it lets me. Oh, yep. Give me 2 seconds. Skipping past all these photos that you're soon going to see. But here we are. So now I'm just going to explain how the Kauri trip works, talk about that first 5 days and the last 5. So the first 5 days is where we get to go and check out the Northland Peninsula, which is the top part of the North Island. It's very subtropical and coastal. It's packed with white sandy beaches, beautiful peninsulas and coves, and lots of opportunity for you to check out the marine part of New Zealand, and get into the water if you want. We kayak and snorkel and dive as well if you're keen. So some of the highlights in that first 5 days are we do the Waipuia Forest Twilight Walk, which is led by local Māori guides. They'll tell you all sorts of legends and stories, very interesting. And obviously the vegetation that you see there. We sandboard and explore the Tupuia sand dunes, which is this picture here. Now you might be going, sandboarding. Actually, we find that often it's the adults that have the most fun doing this. This you can see here from this picture, you basically feel like you're out in the middle of a desert. There's nothing else like this in New Zealand. We also get to visit the Bay of Islands, which is, I'm just waiting for it to load here, the picture. So this is a picture of the Bay of Islands. stunning area. Lots of people that own boats often head out here. There's all sorts of little islands and coves, and the water is just stunning blue with, yeah, you can see the contrast between the green, which you see on a lot of the islands. So we visit, the Bay of Islands, and we hike Cape Brett, which is a beautiful cliff-top coastal walk here. You can see these ladies, lovely ladies, enjoying themselves. And then we cruise off to Poor Knights Island. Poor Knights Island, I'm sure there's a lot of you who know who Jacques Cousteau is. He rated this is the marine reserve, and he rated it as one of the top 10 marine reserves in the world to visit. And yeah, so this is a real added bonus about this first 5 days. In the middle, on day 6, we have a free day in Auckland. So similar to what I was just talking about with the winter Rimu trip and having a free day in Queenstown, this is the North Island equivalent, if you like. There's just loads of cafes and bars and restaurants and all sorts to see and do in Auckland. So this is your day to do that. And again, if you need help from the guides, they can happily help point you in the right direction, or just let us know if there's anything that you really want to do. So the last 5 days, days 7 to 11, we'll be heading down to the down the island, North Island, to check out the volcanic plateau and mainland part of the North Island. So there's, you know, lots of boiling hot mud pools, sulphur lakes, big geysers with huge steam vents that just come out of the ground, rocky volcanic mountain hikes, and a good opportunity to see a little bit more about the New Zealand Māori culture as well. So some of the highlights here, we head to Wairere Falls, which you'll see a picture when it wants to load. There it is, Wairere Falls. That's at the very top. You can see right out over those plains, which you see a lot of in North Island, New Zealand. We visit Te Puie, skipping one ahead. This is Whakawera forest, which I call it the redwoods, but the Māori name is Whakawera, and you'll by the end of this trip you'll be a master at Māori. You'll definitely have it hand down. But this is an opportunity if you're keen to do some biking. I've got loads of good childhood memories there actually. We visit Te Puie, which is New Zealand's biggest geothermal valley. This is also where you might get to see a live haka. If you don't know what that is, give it a Google, but basically it's a Māori performance, and the All Blacks do it for the rugby game. I was just about to give you a demo, but I'm probably not going to do that, sorry. And then we get to hike the Tongariro Alpine Crossing, which is one of our 9 great walks in New Zealand. You can see here just huge sulphur lakes. It's basically a volcano, and it's just amazing. Really is. And lastly, one of the other highlights, visiting the Waitomo Caves. This picture here is actually of one of the more adventurous people that joined us. He's doing the tubing, which you can do. Otherwise, the other option is to do a walk in the underground cave system as well. This is where you will see the glowworms. There's beautiful worms, and they just light up. They've got little lights on their bottoms, and they just there's thousands of them, and they just light up the cave. It's incredible. So how difficult is the kauri? This is actually quite a funny photo that I picked. These women here are trying to pull, this one here in particular is trying to pull a pukana. It's called a pukana. Basically it means to steer wildly or dilate the eyes. You can't see because she's got her glasses on. But this is done by both men and women during dances or songs, to emphasize certain words and their meanings and add excitement to their performance. You see some of that at Te Puie. So yeah, like with the winter Rimu, all of our trips are flexible. So long as you are an active person and you enjoy giving things a go, you'll have a blast on this Kauri trip. We can push you further as well, of course, if you want us to. And yeah, typically the hikes on this one range between 2 to 4 hours, with the exception of the Tongariro Alpine Crossing. That one can take up to about 7 hours, give or take. And I mean, I would strongly recommend doing it because that's one of the 9 great walks. But we do, however, have shorter alternatives on that day as well. So that's, in a nutshell, a little bit about the Kauri. So I'm just going to quickly, we get asked this question a lot for winter down here. and it's what should I pack. But basically nothing really different to what you would bring for our summer trips, because like on all of our trips, you know, you need to bring layers, because like anywhere, the weather, it can change. So it's best just to be prepared. With the right layers on, you'll be ready to go. You'll be ready to get out there and explore these amazing winter landscapes. And yeah, I always say to people, you're better off to have a layered clothing system going on so that you can just peel off those layers when you start getting warm. And yeah, it's just better to do that than to be underprepared. And also just sing out though, if you would like a copy of our detailed gear list in advance. We usually send this out to people once they book on. But yeah, so what happens is usually someone will hold their spot on one of our trips. And once they do that, we give them access to this online platform, and it has all sorts of really useful resources to help your preparation. But yeah, I'm happy to send that out to you if you're interested and want to see a bit more. You can just reach out to me at the end, or get in touch, which I'll give you the details about soon. And excuse me, what's included? Our trips are all inclusive, so basically, yeah, from the moment you join us to the moment you leave, we'll take care of everything for you. This is the best part about letting someone else organise your trip for you. You know, you can just sit back and enjoy your holiday. So yeah, it includes accommodation, guides, so local guides, of course, because you know, who better to show you around their backcountry than the locals. Entries into national parks, all your equipment, so that's things like your biking and kayaking gear, that's all included. I know a lot of other operators add that sort of stuff on. Yeah, transport and all your meals, breakfast, lunch and dinner, snacks as well. Just that one time you might want to bring a little bit of extra spending money is for the free days. So Queenstown on the South Island, Auckland on the North Island. But yeah, other than that, you shouldn't really have to put your hand in your pocket. And of course, it's a great way to stick to a predetermined budget. You don't want to have to be worrying about things, you know, on your trip, like where your next meal is, or where you'll be resting your little head the next night. Cool, so basically at the end now, and just, yeah, I promised I would chat to you guys quickly about that winter offer. So, sorry, I got something in my throat. For those that are looking at heading down this winter, we are running an offer on our Winter Remove signature trip. And I did just want to run this past you guys first, so you guys can have first dibs if you are looking at coming down here this winter. And yeah, the offer stands for any winter remove trip for the rest of this winter season. We're giving you $400 off per person. So yeah, all you have to do when you call in to book, or if you're in touch with me or one of our other New Zealand gurus, is mention newzealand.com when booking. So yeah, easy peasy, too easy. Great, so that brings us to the end, and I'm now going to answer some of your questions. Firstly, I just wanted to let you guys know that I've popped the toll-free numbers here at the bottom, and that's if you want any extra information on things like hiking distances for the trips, that detailed gear list I mentioned before, or if you just have any other questions, please do reach out. You can chat with me directly, happy to, or one of our other New Zealand gurus here who are equally as knowledgeable, and they'd also love to chat. So I'm also going to pop in the chat for you now the trip dates. So hopefully this goes through to you guys. Hopefully you can all see that. Raise your hand if you can't, but it's in the chat feature. And that's just if you want to learn a bit more about when some of these winter trips are scheduled, when you can join us down here. So yeah, you can click on that link now. It will open up our trip dates page, and yeah, just before the webinar closes, if you want to have a look at that. So that brings us to the Q&A. If you can think of any questions now, you want to try fire them at me, I'll do my absolute best. I can already see here one question from Smitty. Hey Smitty. he's asked if the daylight is shorter during the winter. So yeah, that's a fair question. The daylight hours, they are shorter naturally, like most places in the world. But the thing is, we're often out hiking a lot earlier, so it's the same on our summer trips. You would be finished the hiking before the sun's gone down anyway. So yeah, and to be honest, I personally like the winter because you just get more chance to see those amazing stars. It's the best time to see that, do stargazing down here. And so yeah, I hope that answers your question. Do we have any other questions? Anything? Pop them in the Q&A. Cool. So Danny's asked, do you need different boots to hike with in the winter? No, so exactly the same as the summer. We always ask you guys to bring down good hiking boots because we just want you to have the right ankle support. So again, Danny, if you want that detailed gear list, which you might quite like to have a look at that, I can send you that out after. Amy, just drop down Danny's name there, and I'll be sure to get that to you. It's got a little bit more information on that sort of stuff. Any other questions? Excuse me. Can't see any other ones coming through. You're a quiet bunch today. I did my last webinar and they were firing away questions at me. Okay, well, if that's all, that's no worries. I will, feel free to reach out to us down here, like I said, so jot down these numbers. Happy to chat if you just want to chat directly with me. Or flick us an email. Either way, it's been so fantastic having you guys here today. I hope that's answered some of your questions around what it's actually like to come down here during the winter. And I hope to see some of you guys down here really soon. But yeah, thanks, Holly. Awesome, thank you so much. And we'll be in touch. Hopefully we'll chat soon. So I'm gonna say goodbye. See you later.